Welcome back to MVM. I'm Kira and I'm here with a preview of Tiny Ninja's Heroes from 2universe Games. This is a 2-player game with a solo mode for those 10 and up. This nifty little game comes in a convenient little box just like its predecessor, Tiny Ninjas, and it's going to open up and include the entire game area inside the box if you want for travel mode, or there's a table mode for it as well. In Heroes, you are going to pick one of 6 hero ninjas to play as, and then you'll get 4 support ninjas that are the same for both players. Each of these ninja are going to come with a die that helps you track their health along with their ability card. Once you have the game all set up and you determine who the start player is, you're going to start placing your different ninjas out on the board, which we'll show here in just a moment and how that works. Once you've done that, battle's going to happen. It's going to be really, really easy to go back and forth. You're going to have a series of actions, which I'll show you here in front of us, and then you're going to switch places and you keep going until the first hero is out of the game. Let's take a look. All right, so what you see here in front of you is the 2-player table setup for Tiny Ninja's Heroes. There is a travel mode setup where everything is configured essentially within the box. You're going to keep everything a little bit tighter. Be sure to check out the Kickstarter page for more information on that, as well as seeing representations of the final components. This is a prototype, so things may have changed since this was filmed to what is actually on the Kickstarter. You're going to choose from one of 6 different heroes. We've got the legend here. We've got the babies. Yes, there are 2 and they have their own abilities. You have the monkey, the turtle, the cat, and the queen. The red player has chosen the queen. The blue player has chosen the cat. Now what you see here is the game board. So each player is going to be setting up within this 12 square grid here on either side. And there's like a divider row, if you will. This is where your energy, or EP, for the game is going to be tracked. We'll talk about that here in just a moment. You are going to have a different amount of movement, which we'll talk about and how that works against the board. You have some abilities that are going to trigger off this die, which will roll here inside of the dice tray area. We've got our item deck here. You start with 2 potions, which are going to heal HP. HP is tracked on each of these individual dice. As you can see here, they're numbered based on the max health of the individual character that you're playing with, and you'll just tick it down every time they get hurt. All right, so we've got the panda at 5, the archer at 2, solo at 1, and master at 4. Our queen starts at 5. She's one of the lower health character cards. The cat starts at 6, and then the other 4 ninjas for the blue player are the same. Your counter here is who your primary hero is, and it's really who's got the better hero and the better use of the support system. So how do we start the game? Well, you can see here these are shields, and we'll talk about those just in a moment because you're going to get one to start the game. Again, this is your energy point area. So starting with the first player, whoever the first player is, they are going to first put their guy on 0, and the second player will put their guy on the 1 of the energy space. Now this is a magnetic lip to keep the box closed, but also to hold on to your trackers here on the board, which is great. So you're going to take turns going back and forth and placing your different heroes in their areas with their appropriate HP facing up. So I want to put the archer here. She needs to be on 2 because she has 2 health. If the blue player is ready to put out the panda at 5 health, so the 5 will be facing up. We're going to go back and forth like that until all the characters are out on the board. So once each player has placed their 5 ninjas onto the board, they're each going to take one of their shields and choose a place to put it to help protect their characters in that row. And there's other ways that you can gain shields throughout the game, but we'll just go ahead and get these set up. I'm putting them in the spot for the solo ninja here because he only has 1 health, and for the archer ninja over here because she only has 2 health and she's the only one in the row. So quick note on each of the special characters here. So the cat is going to have a dodge ability, so a defensive ability that can be triggered for free. Wherever you see these purple nodes, that's going to indicate how much energy points or EP you're going to have to spend in order to trigger that. And you'll see that is present on the item cards as well. So if it's a 0, obviously it's free. to go. The cat can, of course, attack in any direction, which is really nice, and also gains additional movement, and we'll talk about movement here in a moment. The queen, she starts with a little bit less health. She's starting at 5 health. She can only do directional damage to her left, right, forward, and behind her, so not all the way around like the cat. She has a passive ability, which we'll talk about here in a moment, that allows her to terrify somebody for additional damage. And if she goes down, she's taken everybody around her with her. So if she gets down to 0 health, her die actually has a bomb on it. And it's going to go off and do 2 damage to all characters in all directions, which is huge when you think about how that can impact your overall gameplay. So you want to make sure when you're maneuvering around that you don't get too close to the queen when she's getting low on health, because ultimately it's last white die standing, okay? So which one of the heroes is left on the board. If the queen is able to take out the cat when she is killed, she actually ends up winning. So you want to be really careful about that. So we have our different round phases here. Income first. So the very first thing that's going to happen, like I said, the blue player is second, so they already have 1 EP here to start with. I am the red player, so I'm going to gain 1 EP, and I'm going to take an item card from the deck. In this case, I've gained a shuriken. It allows me to destroy 1 enemy shield, but I have to spend 1 EP in order to do it. Now I'm going to hold on to that for now because there's a couple of different things we need to talk about, and we'll get to that when we get to the action phase. Next, though, we have the move phase. When we move, we take any of our die, and we can move any of the die, we can move up to 3 times. Now, movement's kind of tricky, so moving left, right, forward, or backwards is only going to cost you 1. However, you want to move diagonally, that's going to cost you 2. And I can't move over somebody. Say I'm here and I want to get to here. Can't do that, and I can't do that on my own characters either. So you got to be really careful about how you're putting yourself and positioning yourself. Now, you've got the solo ninja, whose special ability, which we'll talk again about here in a minute, allows him to trade spaces with an ally. So we'll talk about how you can get into these special abilities here in just a moment. But once you finish your movement, then you're going to take your actions, and that's where a lot of these fun things come into play. So you have 4 different types of actions you can use. You can either buy a shield for 2 energy points. Well, I've only got 1 right now, so that's not going to do me any good. So I can't buy any more shields. I can discard 2 items. Well, I happen to have 2 potions and a shuriken now, so I could, instead of waiting to use these, I could just discard them and get a EP, and then I'd have enough to buy a shield if I wanted to. I can also just use one of these right now, which I obviously I'm going to hold on to those potions for some of my characters to keep them in the game instead of losing them, because once they hit 0, they're out. Or I can use a support ability, which is this lovely little star I keep pointing out here on some of these characters. So for solo, when it's time to use actions, you can use this in order to trade places with another character on your side of the board. So if you're the red character, any of the red die or your white die that's specific to you. Now the queen has the same thing. Hers is Terrify, though. So she's going to have to roll one of these die, and even on a black result, she gets additional 1 damage to that character of her choice when damage is done during the attack phase. Now, if she rolls a white, so we're looking at the center of the circle on this die here is either white or black. If she gets a white, it's nothing. So she wants a black result. All right, and then some other passives here. Let's see. That's it, so I'm not going to talk about those. All right, so then when you go to attack, this is when you're using the little sword ability on any of the cards. And you're going to look and see what the options are. So if I want to attack, so I've moved her into position and I want to attack. She can attack forward, backward, side to side. I'm going to roll this die. Now her attack is based on the color of the weapon that's in the center of the circle specifically. So we see green, orange, and purple. On orange results, I get 1. On green results, I get 1. On purple results, I get 2. So we're going to roll purple result. She does 2 damage to the master. Okay, so he's going to tick down to 2 just like that. And now they're a little bit more on even footing ground. And that's it. That's my attack for the round. Then, though, the blue character has the ability to defend. Now, they may have a item card that allows them to defend. They can use a shield if there's a shield in that same row. Like I said, if you're on a shield, you're going to be looking again for a white or a black result. On a white, you're going to defend for 1. On a black, you're going to defend for 2. The shields absorb damage, and then you have certain characters like the panda who you can spend 1 energy point in order to bear hug one of your allies and prevent their damage and take it to the panda instead. So there's a lot of different variety here amongst the different characters in order to go back and forth. And you're just going to keep doing that until somebody's hero is out of the game. All right, and so some of the different cards we have here. So this is Shuriken. It's going to destroy an enemy shield. We've got the little weapons, the kunai that you see in the center of the die. They are going to allow you to roll twice and use your best result, which is a great card to have. You have a smoke bomb. Smoke bomb. Move 1 ally shield or 1 enemy shield to a different lane. So it allows you to take this yellow die and stick it somewhere else if it's not to your liking on your side, or out of the row you would rather it be in for the enemy that you're facing. Agility. Get it? Oh my gosh, that's so cute. You're going to gain 2 movement points. So if you've already starting with 3, or if you're the cat 4, you're adding 2 to it, which is wonderful. Allows you to get a lot more movement out on the board. And I believe, let's see, we've got the energy shard, which is going to allow you to gain energy points, obviously very useful. And one of the reasons those are useful above and beyond some of these ability cards or these item cards is also the abilities of characters like the Master, who can attack in all directions. So if you can find a way to get the Master in the middle of all of the stuff, right? So he's here, and you've got he's surrounding. He for 3 EP is going to hit 1 to each of these guys all in one go, but it's going to cost you all 3 EP, which is pretty strong. So there's a lot of really interesting dynamics to this, and how you use each of these characters and keep them in the game, and how you're going to adjust based on the different hero. So here you've got the monkey. So everything the monkey does costs EP, whereas opposed to the queen and the cat, who you saw a moment ago, doesn't cost them any EP in order to trigger their abilities. So the monkey's a little bit more strategic around your energy production. You've got the baby, who has 3 health on the baby side and then 3 health on the tantrum baby side. I don't think I want to face a tantrum baby. I don't know about you guys. We've got the legend, again, the turtle. So these are some of the different characters and heroes that you're going to see throughout the game. And you're just going back and forth until the hero, the white die, is knocked down to 0. Other dice can be out on the board still, but it's the hero that matters for the end of the game. So you don't want to lose your train of thought on focusing on getting that white die, but also keeping your supporting ninjas alive long enough to protect and help support your primary character hero in order to have them win the game. So that's the 2-player for heroes. There is also a solo mode, which is called Apocalypse. It's going to come with some really neat player mat. It's going to have a travel mode version of the same player mat. You're going to have what appear to be zombie versions of the different ninjas for you to be playing with, and they've got their own abilities just like you've seen in the 2-player game. I'm probably going to be sending this off to Jeremy Howard, so be sure to tune in to his solo stuff to see how the solo mode plays, and be sure to check out the Kickstarter page for more information about the game. Be sure to follow us on all of our social media channels, Discord and YouTube. Be sure to hit the bell so that you get notified anytime any of our new content goes up, and we'll see you next time.